Hello and good afternoon to my loyal Vagabond YouTube viewers. I'm here on this frabjous summer day in Barnard Castle, one of Barnard Castle's parks. Looks very idyllic, as you can see. It's amazing. I can hear the birds song around us. I've just enjoyed lunch at Mad Hatter's Cafe. I recommend that to anyone who visits Barnard Castle. It's a great little cafe and it's quite reasonably priced and very quirky and very nice for tourists. I'm here today with my guest Chris Morse, whom I met on the 2000 AD Tat and Chat Facebook group recently. Welcome to my channel, Chris, and thanks for kindly meeting me today.
That's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
I must explain that I coincidentally bought some Slane graphic novels he once owned from a great sci-fi merchandise shop called Marvellous Toys in Bishop Auckland. So a shout out for them there, which I recommend anyone who likes sci-fi merch or graphic novels to go there because they are quite reasonably priced actually. So now we've got the introductions out of the way, I shall begin. So Chris, as you're obviously an old fan of 2000 AD like myself, I must ask how you got into 2000 AD.
For me, it's a bizarre story where my dad, who just came home one day with Prog 178, right very, very early on at the start of the Judge Child quest. It was the Prog that had the free badge, and he brought it home, and I can only say that he never looked inside it, because if he'd looked inside it, he would never have bought that for me. I remember the centre spread was Judge Dredd trying to be jumped by this gorilla type gang, and there were scenes where he was just punching them out, and it was talking about how he was trained concentrated aggression.
Yeah. I think they compared him to a robot or something. It was that was the planet Xanadu, I recall.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
He'd finally hunted down the Angel Gang on Xanadu using I think it was some kind of potion or something.
The Jigsaw Man.
Yeah.
Episode.
What was it called? There was a guy called Murd the Oppressor. He got the potion of
Oracle Spice.
the Oracle Spice, and there was another one of the judges on the team. Judge Lopez, who had a moustache.
That's right.
He took the Oracle Spice and he died taking it. He sacrificed himself and he fell out with Hershey over this, but he said it was necessary for the mission to find the Judge Child. So that's a bit of background story there. The Judge Child also happens to be one of my favourite Judge Dredd stories of all time. So it's interesting that Chris discovered 2000 AD with one of my favourite Dredd stories. So the next question is, who is your favourite 2000 AD character and why?
I should say Dredd, but it's going to be Strontium Dog.
Understood.
I don't know why. There's just something about the character, the gadgets, his companions.
Wolf Sternhammer.
The change of locations.
Yes.
It just really caught the imagination.
A Western in outer space.
The time warp device.
Yes.
Where the planet would have moved on and they're stuck.
Yeah.
They're stuck where it was and they've frozen.
Interesting plot devices using time travel.
Electronux still has to be one of the best.
The weaponry is very cool. I totally agree with you. And of course, SQR's very distinctive art style. I think that's a factor as well for both of us, for a lot of Strontium Dog fans. It's a related question. Have you seen the Strontium Dog fan film?
I have. Yeah.
So what do you think of it? How does it capture the spirit of the story?
It's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought so.
The quality of them are incredible.
I think they capture the likeness of Strontium Dog and Wolf very well, actually.
Yeah. I think
in the film.
There's something about the helmet which it looks better on paper than it does.
Yes.
It's just it's such an unusual design.
It is.
When you see it in real life, it's quite an unusual helmet.
It was a bit jarring, was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't expected.
No.
But I think they really did capture the spirit of the Strontium Dog story in that short fan. And it's a shame that they've never made like a proper film of it like they did with Dredd. I think it deserves its own movie
for a series, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Just like Firefly.
It reminds me of Mandalorian. I think Mandalorian's taking kind of unconsciously taking elements from Strontium Dog because he's a bounty hunter the same as he is.
It's like a western in space, isn't it?
Same principle. Very popular strip. I can understand why Chris likes it so much. And apparently he's also met Carlos Esquerra.
I have met Esquerra. And because when I first read it, I thought, this is Clint Eastwood. he's using Clint Eastwood, just
Yeah.
like he used Coburn for the Stainless Steel Rat. But when
Harry
I asked-
Harrison novel, by the way, originally.
When I asked him, it was no, it was not
Right.
Eastwood. He just created him, someone who looked cool.
Yeah.
And then we got completely bogged down.
Yeah, there was a mix-up question or something.
So I was asking him about Letratone, because he doesn't use any Letratone, and I wanted to know why. And he was like, a laser pistol?
Yeah.
No, I much prefer blaster.
I don't think you heard him properly.
So I didn't bother correcting.
It was a mix-up of
correcting the
communication.
question.
We
Yeah.
carried on because this was the great Esquire.
Thank you, Carlos. Please sign this.
So you'll never know the answer, will you? Unless you do it through a medium. That's another thing. Obviously, I should also, like I said, I've already explained that we met through me buying, coincidentally, some of the sleighs that you used to and
Yes.
that your son brought into Marvelous
That's it.
Toys. So you obviously also like sleighing as much as I do.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite sleighing story and why?
It's going to be probably Slain the King, Glenn Fabry.
Brilliant artist.
I think just because the quality of what you're looking at and the story of the whole Celtic mythology that's going on there.
Pat Mills captured that very well.
Seeing the way Fabry did the warp spasms.
Yes.
It just, as a
Very
young,
dramatic.
As a young lad, my imagination just went haywire.
I can relate. And the hero harness that was supposed to wear, which Slane didn't wear, apparently.
Yeah.
He shunned a hero harness along with a helmet, which he thought was for sissies.
But I do like McMahon's style. as
Yeah.
well. I know
That divides opinion, McMahon, doesn't it?
it does, doesn't
with
it?
the Slane.
Yeah, it's so different to his Dread stuff, the style. And
What's the story behind that? Isn't it like a sort of
well,
urban legend about why
when I was growing up in Newport, and I was getting the graphic novels, the comic shop owner there, he told me that McMahon had an illness, and that was the only way he could draw now, with this sort of scribbly, scratchy style.
Did he specify the illness then?
No, I don't remember, but
Right.
I believed that for years, and it wasn't until I think I mentioned it on the Tat and Chat, and some other guys were like, "Yeah,
So they'd heard the
that's
same
what
thing.
I heard." But
Right.
it's complete nonsense. There was absolutely nothing.
It's
nothing wrong
maybe
with it.
McMahon fabricated himself for a joke as well, like an in-joke,
That I
which
don't
is
know.
possible because he probably had that quirky sense of humour. Thanks for clarifying that, Chris. So, related question. This might divide opinion as well amongst the Tat and Chat fans or whoever watches the video. Who is your favourite 2000 AD artist and why?
Now I know the proper answer would be Bolland, Gibson,
Yeah, the classics.
Steve Dillon, Mick McMahon. We've talked about.
The iconic artists.
But I am going to go with Ron Smith.
Okay, unusual choice.
Because I think it's the stories that I don't know if it was worked out, but it's almost like a magnet for the madness of future life.
Yeah.
And Ron Smith just seemed to oomph.
He captured the quirkiness of Mega City 1, didn't he?
You knew you were in for something crazy
Yeah.
as soon as you saw Ron Smith.
Stories like Citizen Snork and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, the really mad stories.
Yeah.
And again, I think he was one of the artists on The Judge Child, and I think he captured the madness of the aliens as well, along
Yes.
with Bolland, with the Jigsaw Man
Yeah.
segment. I think, what did Ron Smith cover in Judge Child? Like, there was
So I
certain
remember
planets he
the
covered.
Future War, that there was a game.
That was brilliant.
Yes.
And I can't remember the
And
exact name of the planet.
Hundreds and hundreds getting killed. And
Yes,
the
that was
frog-
epic.
The frog commentating.
Yes, that
So
was
I'll take the
hilarious.
time out here.
I think he was called Dick and Doc or something like that. But yeah, he's right there, and I can't remember the name of the planet. It was a war planet, and I'd used something called Pazaz War Wheels or something like that.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
they were basically like an armored tank, just like one wheel
That's right.
with guns in it.
Yeah.
And they had to. It was like a capture the flag mission, wasn't it,
Yes,
as well?
yeah.
In order to end it,
Yeah.
because it was like a half time where they blew the whistle, and they said, "What madness is this?"
Yeah.
And as you said, like, what was he called again? The artist.
Ron Smith. Yeah.
Ron Smith captured, the sort of the weirdness of the alien civilizations that he visited Very similar to sort of Belladinelli. He had sort of weird things with Scarp and all that sort of thing as well.
Have you heard that Ron Smith would work on a timer?
No, I didn't know that.
So he would have a timer that he set himself a certain amount of time for each page.
Understandable, mine, because he had deadlines.
Stop.
Really?
I'm not going to finish it off. Let's move on to the next one.
Would he have been fed to Metquake if he didn't sort of... I'm feeding it to the sort of droid thing there with Arg and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's very interesting. That is that because you've met Ron Smith and he kind
I've never met him. No,
Right.
No, it's so.
again, it's like an urban legend.
When you see the artwork, you just knew you were in for a treat.
Radio. Thank you for clarifying that. Here's another kind of related questions. Do you read many science fiction novels?
I've not read a massive amount. As Roger Zelazny's Road Marks, I really liked.
Wasn't The Curse of Earth based on a Roger Zelazny story as well?
I don't know. I know Road Marks. It's a strange book in that it's only 2 chapters.
Right.
It starts at chapter 2.
Starts with chapter 2.
Yeah.
So it's not chronological.
It goes chapter 1.
Weird.
Chapter 2. And I think you can read it in any order.
I've actually got Road Marks, but I've never actually read it. So I might get around to reading it now, because I quite like Zelazny.
And the cover was amazing cover, which I think is what...
It's got a
sold
dragon
it.
on, I think, hasn't it?
Tim White.
Yeah.
White, the
Oh, he's a
artist.
really good artist, Tim White. Hi, Dave. Just in the middle of recording here. So yeah. Well, do you want to shift it now? Because I was just explaining to Chris that you're only like a 2-hour limit, and come back here because we'll still be doing the interview at the moment. Right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Right, where were we? Related question again, Chris. Which is your favourite SF novel, and who's your favourite SF author?
Again, I feel like I should be saying Frank Herbert because I read all of the Dune novels. I thought they started very well and got more and more weird.
Right. Did that put you off then?
Well, I've Asimov and
That's in confusing, perhaps, when you say
Arthur C.
weird.
Clarke, but
I
I'm
love
going
them.
to go with Robert Heinlein.
Heinlein, I like Heinlein myself. Right.
And
Do you have a favourite novel by Heinlein?
running up a close second is The Unpleasant Profession of Jonathan Hogue,
Heard
which
of.
is a detective story.
Don't own it. It's supposed to be really good.
Basically, a guy goes to this detective and says, "Look, I want you to find out what I do for a living," because he has 9 till 5 amnesia.
Oh my God.
And
Right.
when he finds out, it's very bizarre.
Right. So
But-
there's a twist in it then.
Oh
presumably.
yes,
Right. Okay.
yes. But
One I'll get round to
the one
reading.
I would just put above that is the short story, and he built a crooked house.
Which I do believe is like multidimensional in nature, and it's like mathematics as well.
It's like some strange architecture that's created.
Yeah.
And when they build this house using this architecture, they somehow open dimensions.
I've read it. It's a bit like, it reminds me of the TARDIS in Doctor Who when like they go inside it,
Yeah,
because like can't they see themselves from different like
I
perspectives
think
as
there
well?
is a bit of that in it.
Yeah. And there's a scene where they're looking out over a desert or something like that, and then doesn't the house implode upon itself at the end? Like that's the conclusion.
I can't remember the ending.
So it's been a while since
I
you've read
remember,
it.
yeah.
It's like he's like an architect, and he basically creates a multi-dimensional house, doesn't he? And it folds upon itself.
It
I
is
think.
just something fascinating about the story.
And it's
just
not
really grabbed my imagination.
It's not one of his more well-known ones as well.
No,
It's
I don't think it is.
interesting that you like that one, but I can understand why you like it because I've read it myself and I did enjoy it. I see you also regularly play board games. How did you become interested in that fascinating hobby?
I think, again, that's going to lie down to 2000 AD, seeing the advert for the Games Workshop Judge Dredd game, ordering it for £6 at the time,
That is a bargain.
and I've still got it, and we played it a couple of weeks ago.
Wow. And does it still hold up well, despite the fact that it's so
I was a
old?
bit concerned that the other guys in the group weren't going to like it, but
Right.
one of them put it at the top of his wish list straight away.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just been re-released.
Obviously, perennially popular.
Yeah,
Did you win that particular game then?
I
Judge
didn't.
Dredd? Right.
I didn't.
Did you
no.
play Dredd or did you play another character in the game?
There's no Dredd character. Well, you only see Dredd as a card. He appears. You've got to go around. You hear of crimes going on in the city.
So you play judges?
Yes.
Right.
You go to the crime, and then you find out who the perp is,
Oh.
and then you've got to try and arrest them.
Bit like
And
a
you
police
have some-
procedural, almost in a way.
Yeah. You have some cards to help you, And if Judge Dredd appears, it says the perp gives up without a
Oh,
fight.
right. So is that what makes it challenging? It's like if Dredd's not there, you kind of got to work it out yourself and like work as a team.
It's not just that, but there's a little bit of Munchkin in it as well.
What's that? Can you explain?
Munchkin is a stab you in the back game.
Really?
So the other judges that are on the board can make things a lot harder for you
by
helping the perp or.
I know. So some of these, like the bent judges, almost when you say helping the perp.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Right.
It's just
the SGS on the case there.
It's everyone for everyone.
Oh, everyone for themselves.
Yes.
All right. And does that bring out like people's ruthless side? You feel?
Oh yes. Once you play that first card that puts flab on the judge or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
God! Oh, Sump's not in it, is he? Does he play?
Yeah.
There's another old 2000 AD supporting character. Well, funnily enough, wasn't a villain. I mean, I don't know if he's still in it now. I've not followed it for a while. 2000.
He was the victim, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he made a lot of money, didn't he, on Sob Story or something? That was his like opening story. Question that's not on the list, but that you've kind of inspired me. Who's your favourite kind of villain in Judge Dredd? If you don't mind me asking.
I did like Orlok.
Orlok, the sub-block assassin.
Yeah.
First introduced in the Apocalypse War, I do believe, or prior to that. Block Mania.
Yes.
He poisoned the city's water system or something, didn't he? Made everyone.
And he just keeps coming back. But
you can't put a good sub assassin down, can you? But yeah, like you say, he's a recurring character. I do believe he killed Judge Giant as well. So I think a lot of people was upset about that at the time. In the Apocalypse War, I don't know if you remember that.
I remember Giant being killed.
It was quite sad. No, that was Orlok.
Well.
Yeah, Dredd was a bit annoyed about that. I think that's why they became antagonists, because obviously he trained Giant from a cadet, didn't he? He gave him like his full Eagle badge, so they had a connection and all that sort of thing. So you can understand why he had a vendetta against Orlok and vice versa. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. And Orlok is a good choice. I can see why you like him as your favourite villain. I thought you might like the Angel Gang or what do you call him, Mean Machine, because I think that's most people's favourite, isn't it, as a villain?
Yeah.
Or Judge Death. Like the kind.
When Judge Death first appeared, it was just incredible. But
Bolland's brilliant art.
Oh,
iconic.
You see some of those panels; they work so hard,
and they're worth a fortune now. Because as you say, it's Bolland, and he's very. I think he did the iconic Judge Death, didn't he? Really, because he was the first one who drew Death.
Yeah, I have met Bolland. And
I bet that was an interesting meeting.
We talked about Zerk.
What the heck is Zerk?
Zerk, the space pervert.
Oh my! Is that a character from 2000 AD?
No. I think I'm not sure if it's from A1, the old Atomica A1 comics. Or maybe
is this an adult comic?
No. It was
with a name like Space Pervert. It sounds like it.
Well, I think I asked Bolland about it, and he just went.
So this is a character that he created.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a bizarre-looking thing. It's like a balloon on legs that flies around on like a Silver Surfer disc.
I'm gonna have to check this out. Is it a little bit like Dash Decent, sort of?
No.
O'Neill Dash Decent.
No, he just sweats a lot.
So that's his superpower. He sweats.
When he gets excited.
And I wonder what makes him get excited. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Zerk, I've never heard of that. And again, some of the people who will be watching this video, they'll probably never have heard it, so that'll intrigue them. So you're learning a lot of stuff here. Next question: What's the current board game you're playing, and do you enjoy it?
Well, we usually get through 2 or 3 a night.
Different ones.
So we've played recently. We've just started playing Magic: The Gathering.
I've heard of that. That's a card game.
It is.
Yeah. Don't think you use dice in that one, do you? In Magic: The Gathering.
It's all card based.
Yeah. I think my brother had that one. He's a big board game player.
But we've got some like Cthulhu sort of type.
You play the Cthulhu games?
Yeah. And I say the one that I've spent the most time with and the most work on is again the old Games Workshop battle cards.
Could you tell us a bit more about that?
So that came out pretty much the same time as the Judge Dredd game. I think there was 4 came out. That one.
So the 80s,
there
roughly.
was a Doctor Who game and something else which I don't remember.
They were very productive back then, Games Workshop, obviously.
Battle cards, when it came, you had some small boards, you had some tiny little cardboard cutout cars.
Right.
And I think everybody that I know immediately tried to change it to
Customise.
so you buy, you get micro machines and you put little weapons on them,
Right.
and you make a bigger board and ramps and
Bit like
buildings.
Mad Max.
Yes.
Same principle.
So that one I completely redesigned. Got permission from
Right.
Games Workshop.
That's interesting.
And it's called Cars That Do Battle.
Did they incorporate that into their official games then? With
No,
your
but
plan?
it's free as a print and play.
Right.
Off Board Game Geek.
And that's still available.
So if you go to Battle Cars on Board Game Geek, it's in the files section.
Yeah, nice bit of promotion there for Battle Cars. If anyone's interested, board gamers. Thanks for that, Chris. Now I've noticed on your Facebook page you also post a lot of photographs. So I'm assuming that's another hobby you have. You seem to have a natural talent for landscape photography. So, can you explain how you kind of got into that then?
Yeah, I got into photography back in the 80s. Studied it a little bit at college. I think you had to find out what it is you really want to take photos of. Is it portraits? Is
Right.
it nighttime photos? Is it
Find
street
a specialism.
Yeah.
Right.
And I discovered I liked landscapes. And
Right.
out of landscapes, I liked woodland
Do
photography.
you have a
the most.
natural affinity with woodland like I do?
I just find it magical.
Right.
Usually going for a walk, you find a path that you think, I don't think anyone's been down here in years. And
Oh, so there's an exploration
definitely,
element to it as well. Right.
And here in Barnard Castle, where we're sitting now, there's 4 woodlands around us.
Would you say this is one of the nicer woodlands? Because it does seem really
This is one
idyllic,
of the,
actually.
So this is Flats Woods. If we walk down here,
Right.
it's one of the more accessible.
Yeah.
Over the road is Deepdale. A little bit further on is Pecknell.
I noticed you snapped several photos around Flats Woods on your Facebook
Yes.
page as well, actually.
Yeah, well, there's a disused viaduct right in the middle of it,
All right.
so it's a very picturesque place.
That's very intriguing. Thank you very much for that. So you visit you visit your local woods on a regular basis. Then it's like
Yeah, I sort of like have a cycle. So I do Deepdale, and then I think
Right.
I'd like to do Flats, or I'm going to go to Thorsgill Wood next. And
right. And these are all based around Barnard Castle.
they're all a couple of minutes walk from here.
That's very convenient for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can understand the attraction because it is really idyllic and it's a beautiful day actually that we've both come out today, which is very convenient and handy. Have you got another board game due then in the near future? Because I know you do this on like a weekly basis or something.
The latest one that's arrived. There's a board game called Pandemic, which
It's not based on the coronavirus, is it?
it'd be crazy if it was, but it came out way before then. And
coincidence.
you can buy, so you're scientists stopping a disease, but there's different flavours. So I've just
Different
bought the
flavours.
Cthulhu version.
You do seem to have a liking for Cthulhu, don't you?
Yes. So
Lovecraft fan there.
you play detectives and
Right.
people like that, and scientists and things, trying to close the gates before.
Like portals type
Yes.
gates. Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
in Innsmouth and
Yeah.
Dunwich and
So do you enjoy the sort of detective aspect of it then? Picking up clues and things like that. Is that why you're so attracted to that style of game?
I think so, and it's a cooperative game, so you don't
Right.
play against each other. You all play together
Right.
to achieve the goal,
Which
And
is handy.
They can be very, very good fun.
So teamwork makes the dream work.
Or makes the dream stop.
Yeah, good point. That's a good. It's a Dreamland's kind of featured in it because that's an element of the Cthulhu mythos, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I've literally it came yesterday, the game. So
Right.
The first job
Oh,
now is to
right.
paint up the miniatures.
Oh, that'll take
make
a
it
wee
look
while.
good.
Yeah. I didn't know you painted your miniatures actually. I just thought you left them unpainted,
Oh,
like playing like a
you've got to
brother.
paint everything. Yeah.
Right. Do you enjoy that aspect of the hobby then?
It's just got to be done. You've got to
Right.
do it. Yeah.
And do you do all the little details, or do you just like sort of do basic painting?
I used to. The more my eyesight is getting
Yeah,
weaker,
I have to use my glasses for my painting
I
actually.
just make it workable.
Right.
Yeah, functional painting, I call it.
And do you paint all of the figures then, or like does
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Interesting. And presumably you got your own unique style as well.
I think if you've been doing model making or things like that for any length of time, you know about washes and dry
Yes,
brushing.
I do that.
And that
Yeah.
can get you a long way.
Right. Would you consider posting any of your pictures of your miniatures on your Facebook page? Because I think that would interest a few people.
Yeah, they're all on the Board Game Geek site.
All right.
So
Is that a Facebook page, Geek site?
no, Board Game Geek is the.
All
if
right,
you
sorry.
are into board games, it is the
Right.
portal for everything board games.
Is that a pun? Portal for everything. I like that. A Cthulhu reference.
Boom, boom.
Drum roll. Yeah, I think we'll finish up on that, Chris. Thank you very much for a very interesting and enlightening interview.
That's been a pleasure.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed it, and I think my viewers and any 2000 AD fans who are watching will have been equally enlightened and have entertained at the same time, learnt new things that we didn't know. So I think I shall end it on that inspiring note. And have you got anything to add for anyone who's watching, like the 2000 AD?
If the Tat and Chat guys,
Yeah, I'll
see
post this on Tat and Chat actually.
then I'm sure we'll have Mac Anorak putting me right on anything I've got wrong.
Mac is very good at clarifying errors, isn't he? I'm sure that secret Manus is Steve Identity, by the way, but we're just speculating on that one. So on that note, I shall end it, and